All right. Now, all the growth we have seen in these 3 years here on Inside MMA, there is one place that we have talked about from almost day one, and it still hasn't happened. New York State does not recognize mixed martial arts as a legal sport.
No Madison Square Garden.
Is it going to happen? Yeah, no Madison Square Garden. The Big Apple, nothing yet. But Bob Reilly has been a vocal opponent. The assemblyman from New York does not want MMA. Last week he said it was too violent. This week, as Bo Von Secoon, our producer, continues this exclusive interview with Reilly, he talks about the money. Would the financial reasons of MMA bring it to New York State?
Now, I'm very familiar with what the advocates say. Oh, we'll make money is the biggest thing. And invariably, I find whoever it is, Mark Ratner, the main lobbyist here for mixed martial arts, McCain, any of the politicians, they are originally against it. But when the money comes in, and they may benefit from that money, then they become for it. And so they sell out for the money. And Harry Reid, the head of the U.S. Senate, said, oh, Ultimate Fighting is just a good street fight. I love it. A good street fight? He loves it? The head of the Senate? Oh, wait. One of his good friends are the Fertitta brothers, who might be supporting his campaign. I don't know. But I find that egregious. How much is Dana White going to make, and how much is going to go back to Vegas is a question I always ask. And where does the money go? There would be a boom for some people. Madison Square Garden would make a lot of money, all right? Dana White would make a lot of money. The Fertitta brothers would make some money. But I look at the Fertitta brothers, who own Ultimate Fighting Championship, are bankrupt. They're in bankruptcy court in Las Vegas and Reno for $7 billion. Are these the people that are going to be the economic boom to New York State? Come on, get serious here. The lobbying effort in New York has been intense. Madison Square Garden has a lobbying firm going for it. UFC has a lobbying firm. I, not entirely facetiously, say I'm doing more for the economy opposing this than the legalization would, because of all the money coming into New York into the lobbying firms. And I think on every case the arguments falter because you can use that for anything, you know. Wait, let's have dog fighting, we can make money. We could make money off of dog fighting. We might make more money off of dog fighting than we could make out of human fighting, all right? We certainly could make money off of prostitution, all right, as they do in Nevada. But we don't want prostitution here, and we don't want dog fighting here, and we don't want ultimate fighting here. And I've heard the rationale that, oh, well, the fighters choose to do that. Well, a lot of people choose to do things that, in fact, by law, we don't allow them to do. And I've asked many people the question, do you think we could find two fighters who for $20 million would go into the ring and fight to the death? And invariably people say, yeah, I think we could find some people to do that. So it's not a matter of choice. I think we just can't allow that kind of violence to happen in our state. That's why we don't allow dog fighting and cockfighting.
That guy is a fucking idiot.
He really is.
Moron. That is the dumbest argument. Dog fighting and prostitution.
Yeah, let me just tell you how full of shit the guy is. He's emailed me multiple times. So he emails me and he says, look, Mark, I mean, I'm shocked that you support MMA.
What?
I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm a big fan. He's like, it must be just about the money. I'm like, look, I'm not going to lie. It's good for my business, but have you watched it? Do you understand it at all?
No.
He's like, well, let me tell you what I really don't like. It wasn't all the money shit he's talking about. It was like, it promotes violence. Kids are going to watch this and go out and beat the hell out of each other. It's going to increase violence. I said, okay, if you really care about that, obviously people want to come into the state of New York and fight. So why don't you make part of the deal that a portion of the gate, a portion of whatever money comes, go to, you know, funds that, you know, or charities that help avoid street violence or train kids, or going to take kids off the street and teach them, you know, about the discipline of martial arts.
He's obviously, he knows nothing about competition. He knows nothing about martial arts. He knows nothing about
You think that guy played high school football?
Nothing.
Are you kidding me?
That guy's not representative of anybody. That guy's a fucking idiot. He's not even
we say this with Bob Reilly.
That's anti-American. That's some anti-American
While we say
shit
this,
right
remember,
there.
he's the guy that's the most vocal, but he ain't, pardon the grammar, the only one up there holding it back.
No.
It's not like Bob Reilly alone is standing at the door. I don't think he has a good argument.
I guarantee you this is financial. I guarantee you there are these getting some sort of incentives financially to not sanction MMA in New York, and that's the reason why. If you look into this guy's background, I guarantee you there's someone in there that supports boxing, or there's some other interest that's getting him to be vocal against MMA. Because his arguments are retarded. The dogfighting argument and prostitution,
people fighting till the death, you know. Yeah, you can fight two fighters, you fight two guys in the street.
It's so stupid. It's an organized sport. It's regulated. There's unified rules. We all accept them. There's never been a single death in the UFC. There's very stringent medical checkups, and you know this is a stupid argument. And that guy's anti-American. Anybody that wants to keep you from doing what you want to do, that's anti-personal freedom. That's fucking disgusting.
No, I think you're right though. There's got to be some self-interest. He talks about self-interest on the part of the UFC or whatever. It's got to be on his end too. I just think because like I said,
politician.
he's got to.
He's a bad guy.
That says it all right there.
And how did we know that Jason Mayhem Miller would be the voice of reason? You're right. He's a politician.
That guy's probably got a dungeon full of naked boys.
Do you think we're going to talk a bit more about this? Is this thing going to happen? I mean, because you got Madison Square Garden, you got a lot of money at stake. Everybody's going to make money off of it. The union guys are going to be setting up the lights and the rings and the cages and all that.
I mean, look, the UFC and Mark, I forget Mark's last name, the guy who does all the regulatory stuff for him.
Ratner.
Is smart. They're smart, right? And they recognize, and we've talked to them, they recognize it's a process. And like anything else that goes from, not available, not around to available, it's going to take time.
It's who you got to pay off. Is that what you're saying?
That's
I mean, that's where the money rolls down the hill, and then somebody
they may not call it to pay off, but someone wants to get elected, or someone wants to get reappointed. But let me just tell you, it's not like, and we'll get into maybe this a little bit more later. What we're looking to do up until probably yesterday, you are allowed K1, you're allowed kickboxing, right? We were work, but it has to go through one of the approved organizations. The World Kickboxing Association is in New York. So we were talking to them about putting something together, a K1, a kickboxing event, whether it's K1 brand or not, to come in and say, look, this is good and you can't stop us. Just deal with it. But I think now we're going to be working with some other organizations, and so I don't think we're going to go in that direction because it might hurt it more than helps it. And so
that guy needs to be voted out. That guy's a creepy politician that does not represent the will of the people.
All right.
What do you think? Everybody wants
We
to
asked the
watch fighting at the
MMA
Garden.
Junkie poll. What do you think out there, voters? Is it going to happen in New York next year, 3 years, more than 3 or never? And you said
Next year.
no.
No.
Next 3 years, 45%. 40% said next year, and then you see the rest. That's what the people think. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Mark Ratner last week told us as well that it's not a matter of not a matter of if, but when, and I think they think within the next year.
there's a lot of pieces to iron out, and this guy will get steamrollered.
But it was no prostitution in Elliot's Pizza.
They got to dig into that guy's past. There's something creepy going on.
You know what? Next week here on Inside MMA, we'll look into why do people spend millions of dollars to get elected for jobs that pay about $100,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kenny Rice, bring it on, baby.
You're ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to get on the Rather Report anytime, by the way. I love to pop in, Mark. I just want you to know I'm available.